Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We are taking a look here at Function X, which is FX essentially. It's a request from my community members. I got quite a lot of requests, of course, because it's jumped up somewhere in the range of 100% in only about 3 or 4 hours. So I like to try to look at these to kind of help you understand best practice on coins like this. But I'll be honest with you, there's not a lot of technical things we can truly look at because it just kind of defies all the normal, standard functionality of actually a technical analysis. Regardless, we'll get through that here in just a moment. And if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. This is always for educational purposes only. I definitely like to recommend that you exercise caution with coins like this, but more importantly, you do your own research too, and ensure that you learn as much as you can from as many people as possible. Hopefully I can be one of those that can help educate you with best practice. That's my goal, is to help you become more of an effective trader. But everyone, to each his own, right? So, take what you can from this, learn what you can, and learn from other people as well. That's how I got here, of course, by learning a lot from a lot of different people. So, don't restrict yourself in that sense. Now, if you do like assistance, kind of a leg up, somebody that's in the industry, so to speak, whereas this is kind of my job every single day, I recommend you check out my Patreon account and see if that's something that might be worth looking into, because I do provide signals to all my members to ensure that you understand how to become more of an effective trader, but also give you entry targets, best practice, along with profit targets, everything you need to know. And it's actually really cool. We got a one-click follow option through Cornix. It's like a trading bot, and it helps automate the process, makes things a lot easier and smoother. So you just kind of follow along if you like. Definitely optional, but it's kind of a cool additive that I just was able to introduce this month. So awesome, awesome stuff. Check that out in your own time. And without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and take a look here at FX? Let's jump in the charts. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look here at Function X. And just before we do, we look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, get a quick understanding of what's going on in the market, and jump right into the altcoins. So let's take a look here. First and foremost, to preface, I use TradingView.com desktop application. And simply put, it's just the best trading or charting tool you can use, and it really just makes life a lot easier when it comes to looking at these things consistently. So I might recommend the paid version. I have a link in the description below so you can see if you like it. Try it before you buy it, but generally speaking, it's just much more beneficial if you have a paid version, because you get more than two indicators present, which is extremely important when switching between different time frames, because you need to have at least two indicators, 2 to 4 indicators present per time frame. Okay, so we'll take a look at Bitcoin first, and just note Bitcoin has increased almost 30% in 1 week. So that's pretty awesome. That's quite a lot, actually. I mean, that's more than we were expecting. That's like an average growth of 5% per day. Today, I think it's upwards of 7% from bottom to top. Correction, bottom to top is 10% here in 24 hours. So unfortunately, those who had some short positions like myself got squeezed out, or just plain old got stopped out, because of the simple fact that the price consistently is increasing. Now, we had a head and shoulders pattern that was forming. I figured it would kind of keep coming back down and then leg back up, but unfortunately we didn't see that. But great news, Bitcoin is on the ramp, all right? It's moving up. I think we're looking to be pretty good shape here for now. Just bear in mind, we're probably going to need to look at some support and resistance levels moving forward, but for right now, the obvious one is right around 52,600. Okay, because that's the most recent stopping point, and it blasted through that here today. In fact, you see that it kind of did a leg up right around 52.6. So that's a major support level right now. Secondary support to that is about 50,000. Then, of course, minus, below that, we'll look at 48,800. There's a handful of other support and resistance channels from before, but for the most part, really the major support level right now is 52.6. Other than that, we're well above both moving averages. We've got, the golden cross that just occurred that could have pushed the price up, as we saw here recently. That does factor in, even though I believe the one-day chart's more effective as far as relying on the price increasing. That probably swung things in the favor, so to speak, which was very fortunate for Bitcoin. At least those of us who are wanting the price to increase, right? So all in all, pretty good shape here. Bitcoin's definitely looking good. Ethereum, effectively the same scenario. Came up here and tested the resistance at about 36.30. That's when I marked that previously, because that was the most previous high, and unfortunately got rejected and stopped out. But that makes sense considering where Bitcoin is at right now. It's kind of trying to figure itself out and go sideways for some time. So we'll see what happens, but we do have a golden cross coming up here on Ethereum. So there's a good chance it could, push up higher to break this resistance and move on its merry way back to its previous high. Somewhere in the range of, well, the most recent high was 4,000, but I think it was like 44, somewhere in that, right around there. Oh, sorry, 42. About 4,200 is a major high, but the most relevant is about 4,000. We're going to see that getting tested here in the near future. But again, all good things for Ethereum. I see nothing bad here. In fact, looking at the one-day chart, we can see the 50s working as a support level as well, which is really a good sign. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here at FunctionX, which is FX. Again, thank you to my community members for requesting that I cover this. I got a lot of requests for this one here today. I can see why, because obviously it's a pretty significant increase. Let's see what kind of percentage we're looking at here. From bottom to top, 135% in one trading day. And I'm guessing that this might be a shorter time frame as well, or at least on a shorter time frame, we'll see that large leg up just based on, I would say 1 or 2 hours. I haven't looked yet, but considering the amount of volume that just occurred there, I think it's pretty safe to say that we had a pretty strong increase. So hopefully those of you who got in around 70 cents or lower are hopefully able to take some profits. But why don't we just go ahead and mark some support and resistance levels. If I'm not mistaken too, this one did crank up a while back, right? Yeah, so it's been around for a while. So since 2019, it had its highest point. Again, I don't consider this an all-time high, considering that's its first day, the ICO date, but it does sometimes, in a lot of cases, actually work as a resistance. Wow, look at that. What do you know? Let's see. Is that the same? Wow, that's exactly the same. So is that 225? Yeah, 225 is the major resistance here for FX. However, the more relevant potential support here, again, when if this candlestick can close above this level, that'd be considered a support level. We're looking at about 125. So we got 125 to 225 as the channel, the range, so to speak, that it could really work itself in. We don't have enough trading data yet to kind of familiarize ourselves with any support and resistance levels, but based on where this closes, it might actually be considered a resistance. But for the most part, if this closes on the one-day chart here in about 2 hours above that, right around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's when the candlesticks typically close, at least for my time zone, of course, then we're going to see that as probably going to be a support level if the price can close above that. If it's, lowers down and kind of stops below that, it's considered resistance, and we'll see it perhaps hold the price down further. What we want is for this to close above that level, 125, and then just say we see a slight retracement tomorrow, which I think a retracement is pretty likely, just based on the simple fact that it's overextended for the moment, and then we can, buy the dip, right? That's my favorite thing to do. Buy the dip on a major support or resistance level. And this previous resistance or potential support is going to be a stronger support moving forward based on the fact that it was a previous high that was held previously. So keep that in mind, just some things to understand. But generally speaking, all good things here so far for FX. Let's see if we can identify, RSI's up over 70. It's another reason why I think it might come back down. Now granted, again, we saw a big pump before, right? So it had 2 strong days. So there's a chance we might see this increase again tomorrow or soon, but just keep in mind that if it were to do that, it would be completely overextended and have to come retracing back down. So again, whether or not you take profits now or at a higher point, it's still profit regardless, and I think we need to celebrate that. So try not to get too greedy, don't be a diamond hand holder, because this does have a tendency of selling off pretty hard afterwards. But let's look at the date here. I mean, we're looking at, August 30th. There was nothing really super special there. There's no reason why the price retraced back down, just say about, 60-70% of its original starting point. So we can kind of expect that. So if history repeats itself, right, it might ramp up here, right? And then it might come back down to kind of level out. So hopefully it just goes a little bit of sideways so we can kind of get it stabilized right there. And then we see another leg up to 225. But either way, we have a MACD convergence here on the one-day chart from yesterday. That makes perfect sense considering it just kicked total tail here today. So let's go ahead and take a look at a smaller time frame to identify. Look at that, we got a nice little gap up there. You don't see that very often, but when it's calculated by TradingView, you will notice that. And I chose this chart just based on the fact that it gave us the best data, so to speak, because the previous ones there's not a lot of data here. So just keep that in mind. But regardless, you're looking at the 4-hour chart, essentially, we can see a lot of volume here in the most recent 4 hours. Yeah, in fact, pretty much all the volume is in the last 4 hours. Technically, probably in the last 2 hours because this candlestick's only about 2 hours old. So again, it definitely pumped up here really hard. RSI is well over 70, right about 90. So, retracement is essentially inevitable. So not much else we can really extract here except for the fact that, we're probably well above the moving averages. And obviously we can see it kind of left that in the dust. So all in all, really moving forward, all we can do here is really kind of rely on the most recent highs and or the previous all-time high to essentially determine, where we're at with the support and resistance levels. So this, I'm willing to guess that 125 will be a major support level when the price retraces back down. We'll see how it behaves once it hits that. But not a lot of, I mean, again, low volume all in all. The price is consistently, we got these jagged increases. So that tells me that there's, somebody kind of controlling the price. Somebody's actually, pumping the price up and down. It's not definitely not people like you and I. So just be aware of that when you're in a coin like this. You want to definitely have, take profit targets in place or stop targets in place if you have, a decent amount invested. Because again, it'll shoot up and then shoot back down. It has a tendency of doing that. It could very well do that again. So I mean, if we look at this 4-hour chart here, it ramped up. You really could have taken a lot more profit up here than down here. So in general, it's best to make sure you always have something set up for something like this. Trading bots are awesome for something like that. In other words, you can have multiple profit targets and even a trailing stop loss. That's what I use in my Cornix application. It's a bot that I use within my signal group. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, I have a signal group where I send out all the signals that I share with my community members. It's a really cool community too. We can all grow and learn together. But generally speaking, it's I send out your profit targets, sell targets, everything you really need to know to be more of an effective trader. And it's kind of nice. It's got like a one-click follow option. But the bottom line here, what I'm getting at is that it's got, you can set multiple profit targets. I usually have 3 profit targets, and it has a trailing stop loss option, which not a lot of exchanges do. So it's really cool to kind of be able to just automate that process and kind of just, set it and forget it, they say, right? That's a good way to go. And again, you can work within your means by doing that because we all have different risk tolerances. So setting that up specifically for what your tolerance is the best way to go. So you don't have to sit there and monitor it all stinking day. I got tired of that doing that before, and now it's just really nice, kind of more automated. It makes my life a lot easier. Something to consider. Anyways, check out my Patreon. I actually have an instructional video help you understand what it includes and what it involves. So reference that in your own time. But for now, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the 1-hour chart and kind of see what's going on. Really, again, not much to really note here. Again, this is just kind of one of those crazy, super strong increases. And we look at this here, we've got 1, 2, in 3 hours, the price ramped up 100%, 110% in 3 hours. That's not a healthy run, right? That's not a healthy bull run. So we can expect the price to come back down unless it's going to get pumped up again for one more day, which is a possibility, a slight possibility. We should expect for the price to come back down. So I would recommend taking profits while you still can. Something like this. Also exercise extreme caution with coins like this that have low volume and then just out of nowhere you see a significant increase in volume. That's concerning to me. It's something. It reminds me of like penny stocks or pink sheets, things that are not really all that reliable because there's such a large spread. In other words, the point in which you want to buy is not the same as much as you want to be able to sell it for, and that difference creates volume problems. In other words, that lack of volume, it's hard to get in and out of situations like that. That's another reason why you want to have profit targets in place and something to maybe help automate the process. Because I want to bet right now, if you try to just get out, you won't get out at the same price that it's at right now. The bid-ask spread is going to be significantly larger. Either way, it depends on the exchange. Bittrex is pretty good, but all in all, I don't know, just something to be aware of. Now, normally what I'd look at is the Ichimoku cloud here, but we can kind of see that it just destroyed the cloud, right? So when the price is above the cloud, it kind of just ramps up. So all the normal traditional indicators that I use that are traditionally more effective, right? They're a little bit more effective than just kind of taking a look at support and resistance zones. We can't really do that here because of the fact that it moves so quickly. Because normally, again, if you are new to the channel, a good bull run should look like this. Right, it should kind of have an up-over pattern. It's never going to be perfect, don't get wrong. It'll kind of, waver and stuff, but, a healthy bull run has a tendency of kind of going up and over whereas this is just straight up. So we're going to see it kind of go straight down, and we'll actually be lucky to see this support level hold at 125 based on the sheer fact of how high it jumped up in such a short amount of time. Okay. This is that knee-jerk reaction. Everyone's selling off, taking their profits, and there's a great chance it's going to continue to come back down. So just be mindful of that. It may be too late by the time we see this video. It might actually be already way lower, but just, friendly advice in the future. Coins like this with high volatility and low volume have a tendency of, shifting too quick, and I don't personally like to trade coins like this myself. Now looking at the 15-minute chart, we can see we had a strong increase followed by a decrease and another leg up. So again, not very healthy in my opinion. I think we're going to see the price continue to kind of come back down and hopefully hold on support. I just really hope that support level holds. We'll find out soon. Other than that, let's see. I mean, not much else to really extract. I would normally look at EMA and VWAP, but this is going to be, again, extremely over-exaggerated. So, I mean, at the end of the day here, I would just say, my prediction is that this price is going to retrace back down to close close to support. It's too early to tell if it's going to close above or below. If it closes above that support level at, just say here in 2 hours, and it creates a new candlestick that's above $1.25, that's considered to be the new support level. So you can kind of rely on that being somewhat of a support. If it drops below and closes below before a new candlestick is created, we can expect it to be a resistance and continue to hold the price down, and it might continue to do something like this here. But my hope is that the price closes above $1.25 and we start seeing kind of some sideways action, some consolidation, and then another leg up. But again, you can't truly rely on coins like this that have this kind of volatility just based on, traditionally low volume. These spikes here that you see, those are not healthy, right? We need to have more consistency, and this has been a pretty low volume coin. Now it is gaining market capitalization, so keep that in mind. It could actually start to kind of recover and stabilize, so to speak, but it's just not something that I would like to trade. So just exercise extreme caution when you deal with coins like this. That's all I can say. But if you found benefit, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, feel free to, again, reference my Patreon account. See if you like, it might fit your profile of who you are. I'm more of a conservative, careful trader. I prefer to, take good trades instead of frequent trades. So all in all, see if you like it. If not, that's okay too. But I really do appreciate you joining me here and watching this video. Thank you so much. We'll hope you have a great rest of your day. See you in the next one. Take care.